Hello everyone, I've made a bunch of videos showing the best bases in all cities of Project Zomboid, except Louisville, but what really makes a good base? You might be wondering, how do I find one or choose one myself? Why this house and not the other one? Build 42 changed things a bit, but not as much as you might think. In this guide, I will show you exactly how I choose bases so you can pick the best place for yourself. If you're looking for bases yourself, I use the Project Zomboid Build 42 online map at b42map.com. This makes scouting way easier than wandering around in the game, and that matters because many players don't die from zombies at all. They die because they picked the wrong base. So how do you choose good spot? It's a complex question, but in a nutshell, it's about priorities. It's about opportunity cost. Any place can work, but it'll cost you time to rebuild, reinforce or wall off. And if you're far from towns, factories, warehouses or loot areas, you'll spend a lot of resources on loot runs, especially fuel and time. Let's talk about bad bases for a minute. Even a good looking building can turn out terrible once you'll try to live in there. Since Build 42, rooftop farming isn't possible anymore. Unless you change sandbox settings, you can turn it back on, but be careful. It might break the game in some ways. A lot of bad bases have one thing in common. They're surrounded by concrete, parking lots or roads. That makes farming a nightmare unless you're ready to tear up to build plots or spaces for animals. And yes, some animals can gaze on grass if their feeding troughs are empty. Same goes for windows. Places like diners, spiffos or storefronts. Too much glass. You'll spend way too much time and resources just patching the place up. And don't forget about zombie population. If you're in dense area, a tall fence isn't optional. In quieter zones, you can build defenses later, but on the main roads, you need a wall. High pop areas also need to be cleared before you settle, and that takes time. No kitchen? That's a problem. Having an oven and functional sink is a must. If you don't have an oven, you'll need at least a barbecue. Warehouses often don't have kitchens, and to build one yourself, you'll need carpentry and electrical skill. And yeah, living in the woods seems peaceful, but the supply runs will wear you down. Every trip's a risk, every detour burns time and resources. A bad base is any place that takes too much time and effort to turn into safe, self-sufficient home from day one. Long-term survival is hard enough. Don't make it worse by settling in the wrong spot. If you want that infested building as your base, leave it for later. Make it a long-term goal. If you're finding this guide useful so far, consider giving it a like or dropping comment. It really helps the channel going. Now, let's talk about what makes a good base. Because miss even one of these factors and your dream base can turn into nightmare. You can make your own list, but there's what I look for, and you should too. Location, city center, edge of town or countryside. It's mostly personal preference, but it ties into every other factor. POIs, shops, hardware stores, metalworking shops, factories, warehouses or gas stations. How quickly can you reach them? On foot or by car? Even distance to forest matters if you plan to build a lot. Mods can completely change your decision. For example, if you have a trailer mod that lets you haul a huge gas tank, you may not care about being near a gas station. Building. The building itself plays huge factor. 2 or more floors are preferable. Even if zombies get inside, they'll struggle to reach you upstairs. Basements are great for storage or crafting stations. Not essential, but useful. Kitchen or a way to cook. Warehouses often don't have one. You'll need carpentry and electrical skill to build a kitchen or a barbecue early on. A bed. Quality beds are almost a must. Moving one requires carpentry, so keep it in mind. Space above the kitchen for rain collectors and accessible roof is a big advantage. Tall fences for extra protection. Even if Zeds can damage them, they are great extra protection. It takes more than one Zed to bring it down, so keep it in mind. Extras like fence areas, chicken coops, barns or garages all add value. Water. Rain collectors are fine, but having a well, pump or nearby lake is a big quality of life feature. Zombie population. Low zombie population equals less defense. High population equals walls, fences, and constant clearing. Zombies will always respawn and migrate. Plan around it. Road access. Easy to overlook but critical. Dirt roads like in McCoy or Schubert's estate will overgrow and take endless work to maintain. You can build flooring to prevent this, but it takes a huge amount of time and resources. That's why I avoid them, even though the bases themselves are great. Main versus secondary base. Don't rely on one location. Outposts aren't just optional. Secondary bases are the difference between sleeping safe or dying in your car. They aren't long-term setups. Think of them as a short-term shelters or outposts, garages, sheds or trailers in another city or neighborhood where you can sleep safely when you're tired or night is close. These become a thing later in your playthroughs. Picking the right base is a half of the battle. The other half is staying alive long enough to use it. If survival still feels rough, check out my beginner's guide next. And if you're confident but want to find the best base spot fast, my best base videos will save you hours. Choose what you need, and until next time, keep gaming.